Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Steve. Boy, yeah, I don't understand why some people just need to get involved with stuff. You know those type of people that have nothing to do with the situation, they don't know anyone in that situation, but they want to come and ruin things. That's exactly what Phil Jackson did. He came to the New York Knicks with promise of turning the franchise around when we were going in the right direction. Before him, in the 2012-2013 NBA season, we had the second best record in the Eastern Conference, behind only one person, and that one person was LeBron James. So that is what Melo and his team was doing before Phil Jackson came. Now you add Phil Jackson, and what happens? You add him, Phil Jackson. We don't make the playoffs in 2013-14. We don't make it in 2014-15. We don't make it in 2015-16. And thus, we didn't make it in 2016-17. 4 straight years since Phil Jackson came of not making the NBA playoffs. 4 straight years. And you're going to sit there and tell me that it's a coincidence, that it's Carmelo's fault? Was it Melo's fault that he traded away JR, Amon, Tyson Chandler, and the rest of them, and pretty much got nothing in return for it? That's not Melo's fault. That's clearly Phil Jackson's fault. He had nothing to do with the New York Knicks. Okay? Yeah, in the past, whatever. That was like 30, 40. He had nothing to do with the New York Knicks at that point in his life. All he wanted was the paycheck. So now there are rumors that the New York Knicks are going to fire Phil Jackson today. Fire him today. And now to James Dolan. What the hell took you so long? Why would you wait 4 years? Why would it take 4 years for someone to fire Phil Jackson? Why would it take someone 4 years? You should have fired him after the 2014-2015 NBA season. Actually, after the 15-16 season, because look, yeah, he got Kristaps Porzingis, and then in the offseason of 2016, he got Derrick Rose, Courtney Lee, Joakim Noah. But then he hires the most incompetent coach I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't even remember this dude's name. That's how incompetent he is. Jeff Hornacek. That bum. I'm done screaming about the New York Knicks. I'm literally done screaming about the Knicks. How the hell do you sign Jeff Hornacek when Phil Jackson is incompetent? I don't know if it's because he's old. And to be honest, all this, Phil Jackson's a great coach. He's an 11-time champion as a head coach. Who wouldn't be an 11-time champion as a head coach if you give them Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman, Horace Grant, Steve Kerr, all in their prime? Then add prime Shaquille O'Neal, who's the most unstoppable force the league has ever seen. Add a prime Kobe Bryant. On two different teams, he had prime Kobe. Young prime Kobe. And then he also had prime Kobe in terms of 2008 all the way up to around 2011. Okay, so you have prime. I don't understand what took you so long. What took you so long to do this? It doesn't make sense to me. Why would you wait? Why would you sit there and wait until 4 years down the line, the Knicks aren't making the playoffs? Okay, Carmelo Anthony is old now. So what was the purpose of signing him for those years? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. We had 4 great seasons. Great seasons of losing. We were losing. We were the laughing stock of the NBA. You turned Carmelo Anthony into a top 3 player on the planet down to not even top 5. He's like top 10 now. I can't believe how pathetic Phil Jackson was with his stint with the New York Knicks. It was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And it proved my point that coaches are overrated. You want to see a good GM or executive? You want to see a good executive or leader, or what is it, the head of basketball operation? You want to see a good one? Look at what Magic Johnson is doing right now. Go look at Jerry West. Those were great players. Some of the greatest players to ever play this game. Jerry West is literally the logo. He went to the finals 8 times. Yeah, he's 1 for 7, but he still went 8 times. Okay? Look at Magic Johnson. One of the greatest players ever. The best point guard in NBA history. Okay? They're doing a good job. He just traded away D'Lo. He got Brook Lopez. He signed Lonzo Ball. He's going to get Paul George. Well, I mean, come on. He got rid of that Timofey Mozgov contract. Now he just got to get rid of Luol Deng. Okay? Look at what Jerry West did with the Warriors. And now he's going to the Clippers. I guarantee you the Clippers are going to turn around and be one of the best organizations in the league in 4 or 5 years. I don't understand and I really don't like to use this word, the retardation behind Phil Jackson. Literally, I don't get it. He's incompetent. How are you an 11-time NBA champion as a head coach? 11 times. 6 with MJ, 3 with Shaq and Kobe, and then another 2 with Kobe and Pau Gasol. And you're going to sit there and tell me you have another one of those great players, once-in-a-generation players. And what do? As the head of basketball operations, you turn the franchise that was on the upside, because for the first time in I would say a decade, because I was about to say 2 decades, but Patrick Ewing was really out of his prime in the late 90s, like 99, 2000, early, he's out of his prime by then. But so we'll say in a decade. For the first time in a decade, we had a superstar player. I don't count Stephon Marbury as a superstar because, let's be real, he was good on the Suns, and then he came here and he was dog doo-doo. He was all right for like 2 years. But for the first time in a decade, we had a once-in-a-generation player. And what does Phil Jackson do? He turns that once-in-a-generation player that just brought the team to the second-best record in the Eastern Conference to a 54-win season. 3rd in MVP voting. He got a first-place vote. He was the face of the league. I mean, he still is one of the faces of the league. I mean, the league can't go one day without talking to Melo. You turn that into not making the playoffs 4 years in a row. And it's not Melo, because Melo's made the playoffs his entire career. He's never missed it once until Phil Jackson came. So that's proof. The proof is in the pudding. Phil Jackson is the reason why the New York Knicks are horrific. So now, it's all going to plan out perfectly. James Dolan's firing Phil Jackson. Carmelo Anthony wants to stay in New York, which I don't blame him. It's New York City. I go to Florida all the time, and then when I come back to New York, I'm like, dude, I love New York, I'm born and raised here, man. There's nothing like it. But the real reason why Melo wants to stay in New York, and I don't understand why these idiots on ESPN, I'm not talking about Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, I'm talking about the other people that are boring to watch. They should put your boy on there. When Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman aren't on a show, those random dudes that are on it, they should put Steve on there. But anyway, look, Melo wants to stay because of his son. A lot of people don't understand that there's more to life than basketball. And LeBron says this a lot, so does Melo. He says there's basketball, it's just a tool to get to that next step. Okay? And yeah, it's good, it's fun, but there's more to life than basketball. Family is number 1. That's what he said. That's what Melo said. That's what D. Wade said. Bosh, Kobe, everyone. Everyone says that. Because it's true. I mean, there's way more to life than just... Look. Oh my gosh, man. So now that he's fired, I should have saw this day coming, because I've been saying to fire him for 2 years now. But I kind of had hope. I was like, look, let Melo go win a championship with Cleveland. We'll keep Phil Jackson. We'll tank and we'll see what he can do. You know, that was the only hope I had, because Phil Jackson ain't building a team around Melo. You know, Phil Jackson's too incompetent to do something like that. So I'm sitting there like, okay, we trade away Melo, we get a piece. Or they buy Melo out and Melo goes to the Cavs. And we get a solid piece, right? I'm like, okay, the Knicks, maybe we have an all right future. We're going to be the Sixers for another 6-7 years, and then we'll get some pieces around Porzingis, and there's no guarantee Porzingis is going to stay, because Porzingis don't even like Phil Jackson. And I'm like, it's going to be like a fresh start. And I'm just like, okay, maybe we have a chance. Maybe this organization has a fighting chance. But I turn around, and now Phil Jackson's supposedly going to get fired. And it's like, it was just a complete waste of time. It was a complete waste of time. It is absolutely, positively embarrassing, disgusting, and it proves. It absolutely proves. Now it's official. They just made it official. It's 6:41 in the morning. They just made it official. Phil Jackson has been fired from the New York Knicks. I am beyond upset. I am flabbergasted. I am bewildered. I am annoyed to death. Bye. Ignoring your calls now. Don't come back, Phil. Dude, I can't comprehend the disgust that my organization has had for the last 4 years. Hopefully, Melo. Now I want Melo to stay. Please stay in New York, Melo. KP, stay in New York. Derrick Rose, Courtney Lee, James Dolan. Fire Hornacek, please. I guarantee you, if they fire Hornacek, the Knicks are going to make the playoffs. Anyways, it's been your man, Steve. The bright side to the Knicks is Phil Jackson's finally fired. I'm so hyped. Let's go.